doing, Subodh?
Good, Sandeep.
Hi
Hey, Neil.
Sandeep, hi Subodh.
Hey,
What's up? How is it going? Hey, Neil.
Very hectic
Is it?
at work, a lot of travel and
I see. You're in a hotel room or at home?
no, I am at home.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
today I'm back.
I'm in a hotel room today.
Oh, okay. Where are you?
I am in Montreal.
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 Okay, great.
you're visiting Montreal.
Yeah.
Morgan Stanley has a big office in Montreal.
Is it?
Yes,
What
Morgan
I can
Stanley.
say is that these people chill out a
Don't
lot.
like English.
Yeah.
Do you know French?
No, but all I know is a stupid language. Sorry. But
So
the,
I don't
the
know.
culture,
People might know. So
the
don't be surprised if people ignore you if you don't know French.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm quite used to it. All right. I've been ignored in Kannada. I've been ignored in Tamil,
Yes.
and I've been ignored in Telugu, but that's okay. Yeah. I
Which
think
place are you from originally, Sandeep?
I am from UP,
No,
Bulandshahr.
I know Bulandshahr.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, people have this crazy obsession about language. Looks like language is more important than people. Right? In the
I
But
know.
many,
we can't blame them, right? I mean, for example, you also prefer Python more than C now, right? So it's
it's
a way
not
to
that.
express things.
It's a tool. It's a tool. Okay. In my priority list, everything is secondary. People are most important. Yeah. And that's something that I learned afterwards. Okay. So, irrespective of language, irrespective of whether somebody is coding in Python or not, right? People are, yeah, I
That was a
think,
great comparison, those two words.
yeah.
No, I'm saying it's a mechanism to communicate, right? I mean,
Mm,
we use different language. The reason why it is called language, a
mm,
programming language, is because we wanted to give our thoughts to computer so that it can work, right?
yeah.
So
I think two things I don't want too much of diversity in. One is uh, phone chargers. I don't want too much diversity.
second
Okay.
that, yes.
Yeah. And second is the language. Okay. Honestly speaking, I think people should just agree on a human language, one language. I think, and I end it there. It's just nonsense. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying one language better than another. Just agree on something and then, so that people can talk to each other. It's such a, I mean, I think that's the only barrier. Okay. Other than that, there's no barrier to like the world being one. I feel that the world is different, world is separated because of the language differences. And yeah, I think,
I,
yeah.
I think you should stand for United Nations political goals.
No,
Probably
I
they would love this.
I always felt it like, I mean, it's so crazy that in Bangalore you travel in Uber, okay, and you never talk to the driver, okay, and that's such a weird thing. Like I travel in Singapore, I could talk to everybody. I went in Johannesburg, I could talk to everybody. I am in Canada, I can talk to anybody, but in my own country, I could not talk to people. That's such a bad thing. Okay, such a bad thing. And I think the obsession is about, I think, yeah, again, um, like the way I always look at it is that, like, when I listen to most of my friends, they say, oh, it's too much of population, right? And I see that people are the purpose, not the problem. Okay, that's how I look at it. It's a very important thing that I learned afterwards. Okay, very important thing that people are the purpose. When when you are running Amazon, you want the population to increase, so that more people can buy stuff. Okay. And it's only the Indian government which doesn't like people. Okay. And I used to say that in case, I mean, you can hire more people to build road, you can hire more people. It's a luxury to have good people. And yeah, that's the thing. So I think and people is the most ignored, in India specifically when I see um, cities like Bangalore, I think people are the third priority. Okay. And yeah, first is language, and before that, they're celebrities. Yeah. Celebrities, gods, dogs, language, they are above people in general. It's like very, very crazy part. Anyway,
So whatever is in abundance is never valued, right?
yeah,
So
Well
yeah,
said.
in India, the people are in abundance, so they're not valued. They are the human life.
yeah,
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 that's what you see in countries like Japan or even
Yeah,
Canada in some places, right? There are less people, so they are valued more.
more.
Wherever there are more people, they don't get that value.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Because I think the great part about India in general is that everybody is so inclined on education. Every parent has this focus, and it's such a brilliant thing to have as an emotion in a country. And still,
No, but that is no, but I believe like that is kind of a side effect of this Darwin's theory of survival, right? So to survive, you have to get educated over here. So
yeah,
it's
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I think see that's the thing, right? So we are still being that fighter, right? Like when I meet people here, they crib a lot about government. Okay. And as if government is supposed to do everything for them. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So I think they feel that, I mean, many people from the developed nation, they feel that they have done a big deal, big job by just being born. Okay. So, yeah, yeah. You'll be amazed. I've been
Yes,
interviewing people in this
I'm,
here. You will be
I'm
amazed.
not surprised. I've
So,
seen people
so
here.
I'll tell you like very amazing part about hiring. I have interviewed like 20 people in last 1 week. Okay. I've been trying to hire engineers and scientists here for one of my the consulting things. It's very weird. Okay, you will find it very weird. So I asked this person, and this is repeated like 5 times. Okay. I asked the person to share the screen and start coding. And she says, "Hey, I don't like people when I don't like the interviews where people are looking at my screen." Okay. And I don't want to code in the interview. Okay. So I said, "Okay, do you want me to skip the question and go to the next one?" And she said, "Yes." Then again, I asked, rather than coding question, I asked a skill question. Okay. And again, she repeated the same thing. And then I said, "Okay, do you want to move on to, do you want to move on to asking questions?" And that she was like, she started asking question like, "Why do you guys use GCP, not AWS?" And I said, "It's your interview, not mine." Okay.
It's a side case though, right? Sandeep
No,
sir.
I mean,
I'm
out
in
of
Bay
20
Area.
people,
When they grill us like anything on interviews, I'm in Bay
out
Area
of
and
20
the grilling
people,
is
out of 20 people, around 50% people have done that. Okay.
I mean,
Like,
I have taken at least 70 odd interviews after coming to Canada. And Sandeep, your observation, I've seen in 80% of cases. And these are the people who have graduated from universities, right? They have done engineering. They've graduated from universities in Canada, and they are like, I can write pseudocode, and that also wrong. I can write pseudocode, or like, anyways, we are going to use Google, right? Why we are not allowed to use Google during this, right? So
I mean,
it's like,
to my amazement,
really
right?
entitled.
I mean, see, I mean, most of these people are experienced people, 10 years of experience. Okay. But, okay, fine, you could not clear my interview. But, to escape the questions, what their tendency is to start asking questions. So probably it's like the effect of probably education. Here, teachers are way too easy on kids. Okay. I think the other extreme where student are just ask any questions. Okay. And these people, I mean, I was amazed. I mean, people are coming with their own personal problems in the interview. I mean, I was trying to solve this. Can you help me with doing this? I said, dude, I charge $200 an hour for solving people's question. Okay. So if you are ready to pay that, I'd like to solve it. Okay. And but yeah, uh, I think the life has been way easier for many people in general, what I see here, and as compared to what a typical software engineer in India faces in general. This is what I can say very, very confidently, that the interviews for them has been very, very easy, right?
That is for
Just
sure.
because you have a resume, you are entitled to a job. That's a kind of scenario.
So Sandeep, my theory is that if you can survive in India, you can pretty much survive anywhere in the world.
You said my sentence.
And if you can do and if you can do business here in India by
Yeah,
working with Indian customers, that is it. So
yeah,
you can do anything.
yeah. So when I was moving, I told my friends, and my friends were like, You are 43, and how are you going to adapt and adjust in a new country?" And I said, if I can survive in India, I can pretty much
I mean,
thrive.
that age should not be the bar, right? Like to decide
Huh?
on these things. I'm saying age is not a bar to decide on things, right? Like you can start anytime. Like I mean,
No,
I was doing
no, I mean, practically speaking,
after completing my bachelor's. So there I found like a guy, like a person who he was 48 that time, and he was starting his career in IT. So he joined CTech with the aim to learn coding, and I'm talking about 2006 or 7. And he picked it from there, and after a year, he himself got a job in CTech and now become a research scientist there.
yeah.
So I mean, it's all your attitude that
I
judges
think
whether
age is not a
where you
bar.
want to be.
Age is not a
Yeah,
bar for those who believe in this sentence. Okay. Those
yeah,
who don't.
that's what
I'm like very amazed at looking here. So I actually heard multiple people say in a library, this woman is telling the receptionist that, hey, I don't want to learn any new system. Can you do the prints for me? Okay. And then
that's the wrong way.
right? So, and she says that I am 50. I don't want to learn new things. Okay. So yeah, so what I'm saying is that we are a versatile, you can say we are versatile animals. We can learn and do everything. And yeah, and we have that. I mean, thanks to India, I have that attitude always that, you know, what is the worst that could happen? Okay.
I mean, what
Yeah.
worse will happen? You lose the job, you lose unable to pay. What else?
Yeah,
You'll get someone.
I'm amazed at people here. They're doing like four concurrent jobs, man. You'll be amazed to see. Yeah.
What? You
And
said 4 jobs.
4 jobs, yes.
Yeah. People do it here. Like even in Australia, I see a lot many people are doing
How
it.
do they go to 4 offices? Like, how?
I mean, they're doing.
They don't have to go to
They
office.
don't.
They're not.
You don't have to go to office. They have started doing that in India as well. I had one engineer in Amazon. who was
Yeah.
doing Moonlighting. So in Amazon pays good, right? But still, during COVID, somehow he was able to crack one more. I don't know. He did not. When he left Amazon, he told me that he was doing something. He did not tell me the company, but he was able to crack one more, and he was doing 2 jobs.
I think it's a good
But
idea.
I think
Very good
after
idea.
yeah,
Okay.
but after 6 months or so, he realized that it is a problem because of your PF and all that everything, right? In India, it causes a lot of problems
Yeah.
unless you are getting paid in cash or checks. But then after 6 months, he left Amazon for that particular company. But
No, but
yeah,
in here, it's legal.
yes.
Okay. It's legal. So people, right? Like even if you look at my current scenario, so I consult for like 3-4 people, 3-4 companies, and right. So I'm practically doing 4 jobs. Okay.
Hmm.
4 jobs in the sense that it's a consulting job, and if the work overflows, I give it to one of my people and things like that. So, and usually that's the strategy. So I think these guys respect it. That is a very good part about rest of
No,
the world.
Sandeep, sorry, but in India also you can do that job, but if you're consulting, right?
Mhm.
No,
We
if you
have
are, if
not,
you,
we have not upgraded and changed the labor rights. Okay. And the thing is, we still are in a situation where if somebody is doing 2 jobs, it's looked down upon. Okay.
okay, yes, in that way it is.
Yeah.
But in
So
the case that
here
you're
it's
saying,
kind of
right?
okay if somebody puts on LinkedIn that I work for X company, comma Y company, comma Z company, it's completely okay with all the 3 companies.
Yes,
And
and the companies are accepting it. In India, Amazon would have kicked him out if they would have
exactly,
known that he is.
exactly,
So
exactly.
it's a company part as well.
Yeah, yeah, perfect.
Moonlighting.
It's a wrong term. Um, I think it's completely right. When a company outsource their work like subcontracts, essentially that's okay. But if an individually outsourcing, that's wrong, and that's a very weird part about it. And so yeah. So I think the way, like, for example, if I'm working with somebody, I'll just say that, hey, I am Sandeep Giri. I'm not an individual, I'm an institution, and my people will work. Okay. So though the name is Sandeep Giri, but it's an institution. Okay, as simple as that. Okay. And I'm not an individual as such. Okay. So yeah. And I think that's acceptable in these countries. In India, people look at it in a very weird way. Yeah.
But
So,
I think in India the
I
bigger
mean,
problem
there are
is
no
people.
workforce reforms happen, right? There in India. So here it's quite common. Even I'm in Australia.
yeah.
Like people have to do multiple jobs. Actually. No options. You have to secure pensions and whatnot. Actually, I mean,
Yeah. Like
old age retirement.
Newton was an institution, was not an individual.
Hmm. Yeah.
So was this guy. What's his name? The guy who invented electric bulb.
Thomas Alva Edison.
Edison.
Listen,
He was an institution. He had like multiple people working with him. I mean, Tesla was an intern at Edison's company. Okay. And so, yeah, I think in these countries, it was always like this. In India, this luxury only the British had, we did not have, right? And that's why we have not accepted that part. Okay. French had always this attitude that I am an institution, not an individual. And yeah, so I think that needs to be upgraded probably at some point of time. Okay, so much of waste of time for all of you. Sorry, 20 minutes. All right, so one of the things that I want to touch upon today is the file processing. And file processing in Python is super simple. And a text, I mean, I want to touch upon the file as a text file for now, and then we'll talk about the binary file. A text file is nothing but storing numbers, and these numbers are representing characters, which are displayable characters. Okay, so remember our discussion on numbers. So when you see a text file, you think of it that this is one number being stored in the file, this is another, this is another, this is another, this is another. And then when you see this new line at the end, it's another number that is stored. So file, though it looks like a rectangular thing to you in the mind, but when you think about it, it's essentially you know, a sequence of numbers. Okay, 0, 1, 0, 1, right, like that. Somewhere everything is like a big sequence of numbers. All right. So when you store data in a file format, you are storing a sequence of characters or sequence of numbers in a file. Okay. And now this is important because in the memory, right, when you are keeping the data in an array, right, when you're keeping the data in an array, you could just go to that position and change the value. But in file, you cannot just go to a position and just change it. Okay. In case of file system, what you have to do is you have to create a file, or you have to first find that location where a particular element is there, and then go there and then modify it or create another file and so on. Okay. So in case of changing variable name or array values, it's pretty instant because this is happening in the RAM. This is happening in the disk. Okay. It's a very important question, and I'll also touch upon multiple things as we go ahead. And this is, I understand that most of you know what's a file. I understand most of you know how to deal with the file, but there are dark spots in the understanding of the file. For example, one of the interview questions that I ask is, can you print last 5 lines of a file? Okay. Say you have a big file, you have to print last 5 lines of a file. How would you do that? Okay. Now, essentially, I mean, just I'm leaving with all of you with the question so that as we walk, you get a thought clarity. Okay. So anybody wants to answer this question now, and then we touch upon later. Say you have to design a tool that prints last 5 lines of a file. How would you go about it?
Whenever we get a new line, we store it into a list. So if we get a list of the file that all the lines are there, we can print the last 5 elements of the list.
Okay.
One method is the read lines in the Python. So like when you open the file, then read lines the file, then the -5 for the list index, and then iterate to the last 5 line of the file
Okay.
content.
Okay. Okay.
There are ways that you can find the end of file character.
I did not understand the previous answer. Could you repeat?
Read line method of the Python. When we
Okay.
open the file, then read lines of the file.
Okay.
Then they return as the list of the content. Then after that we iterate the list like the last 5 line we need. Then the reading the list from the last element, last indexing, reverse
Okay.
index.
Good answer. So you are saying that using read lines, read all the data into
Yeah.
an array or a list. Okay.
Yeah.
And from that list, just return the last 5 elements.
Yes.
Okay.
Similar to that we do in
Think
the
about,
strings actually.
it's a good answer. Think about, do you think this is good method? If your file is of say 20 gigabyte,
that time, yeah.
right?
Memory consumption, everything is first.
Because you're loading everything into the memory, and then it is overflowing, correct?
Right.
So how would you solve that? If you have 100 gigabyte of file, how would you? It's a good answer. I want you to take it from here and tell me how would you uh, deal with 100 gigabyte file?
Is there a way to divide into small chunks? And we know that we can divide the file into small.
Divide the file into small, okay? But you want to divide it into parts.
Yes, we know that
So,
we
go
want
ahead.
to read the last 5 lines, so it
Okay.
probably will be the later part of the
Okay. Okay.
the just similar to what we did in the binary search, that
Okay.
keep on
Okay.
dividing. And
Yeah, but we are not really searching
no,
we are just searching for last few lines.
I'm saying that we have, let's say you have 20 gigabytes of file, so you divide it to 10 gigabyte, 10 gigabyte, so you know that it's in the right hand side of that, so you
Yeah.
take that part and then divide it to 5 gigabyte, and keep on doing that till
Okay.
you get the
Okay.
last.
Okay. Though answer is good, but that's good for searching questions. We'll talk about searching questions where we search for something. That's where this strategy is very good. Okay. But But dividing the file itself is a mammoth task because you'll create another file, you'll move the data from the tail of the file into another one. So every time you'll create two files and then you will keep on going there. I think you can do way less. I mean, this is just too heavy lifting. There's too much of read writes. Okay. And yeah. Okay. Any other suggestions, everyone? Just think over it. As we go through things, let's walk through what all is possible with the files so that you get an idea. Okay. So first is a very simple thing. We use a open method. Open opens a file, and then open gives us a handle to the file. Okay. It's a handle. It's a symbolic like an object, which basically opens the file in this mode. Mode could be read mode. Mode could be write mode, or mode could be uh, append mode. Okay. Append mode means open the file, start appending at the end of the file. Okay. Now, basically, right. So what you can do is you can, imagine that this is a file. When you say handle, when you say open, it basically gives you a handle, and then from the handle you can read, write, and then you close. Okay, your program can do open a file, and on the handle it can do rest of the job. Okay, so it's pretty simple. You can just open a file like this and then do the work. Okay, so I'm going to just go to the notebook where we were working so far. Okay. And just let me know if my voice is clear or not.
It is. It is.
Okay. Perfect. Let me go back. All right, where is my notebook? The one that I was working with. This one, right? All right. Okay, so I will also create a couple of files here. I'll open a terminal. Okay, do you see okay. Common words. I'm just trying to see if I can show you some good files. Okay. CLS, there is something called CXL data. And yeah, there is a big.txt. I'm going to copy it to okay. Okay, so you see this command called tail. You see, there is this
Yes.
file big.txt. What tail does is tail prints last few lines of a file, 10 by default. Okay, so tail command is what I was asking, how would you design the tail command? Okay, so and tail command can deal with all kinds of sizes of the file. Okay, and it can deal with it really quickly. Okay, so here is one file called big.txt, and let me see if I can find more really good meaningful files for you. Okay, and we will talk about, okay, like for
What is
example,
this number that what is that number we were seeing, Sandeep, in that previous one? 6877 something. That big number was the number of characters.
size, yeah, that's a number of yeah, size in bytes. Okay,
Bytes.
okay. Yes, there we go. Okay, so I have added two files here. One is mailbox and other is that. Okay, both of these are quite useful, and I will just add both of them into the repository and commit it. Okay. Oh, I did not add the new file. What was the name of today's June 4th? Okay, June 14th. I'll just add. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this mailbox. And there's a command called head. What it does is it just prints a couple of lines from the file. Okay. So we have mbox.short. Okay. I'm going to use here, I'll say, right? I'll say this is my file, and what is the name of the file? This one, right? And then I can read the data. Let's say this is my data, and I can say read lines. Okay. And also, I'm just using this simple tab, which is basically reading entire data into the memory. So this is my the data that is read from the file. Okay. So that file contains the data, and this read line, what it did was it started reading the data from left to right. And as and when it encountered a new line, it basically created a new element in the array. Okay, so basically the length of data is equal to number of lines in this file. Okay, I'll just give it a better name. I will call it text lines. Okay, so text line contains this much. Oh, okay. That got closed. So notice that we opened the file, I read the line. So this F handle keep on moving, keep on moving. And if you read it again, it has reached the end, and therefore there is nothing left. So you can say F dot close. Okay. Yes. And then again you can do F dot open. Open and put the handle into the file and read the lines, and now you will see. Right? Now, once you get everything into these lines, you can just operate using a for loop. Let's say for line in text lines. And I can just say, okay, print line. Okay. All right. Now, who can help me writing a code? Okay. So here's a quick question. Quick question to all is find the longest line. Okay. Yeah. That is my first question. Okay.
Out of those red 5 lines,
Yeah.
Sandeep,
From this file,
and the longest file, the longest sentence in a file, or like from the last 5 lines.
go ahead, tell me more.
Yeah, I'm asking, like, you want to find out the longest sentence from the last 5 lines, or
Whole file.
okay.
Okay. So you have to define a function. Okay. You have to define a function called longest line, which takes the file name as argument. Okay. And it returns the longest line. Okay. Yeah. From that file. Also, before I just think of the question, but I'll just tell you one more very cool thing. Now, the same thing can be done. Let's say you want to go through a file line by line. What you can also do is you can say with. Okay, there is a thing called a with. See here we had to first open the file, then do something, and then we have to remember to close this. Otherwise, we'll make a mistake. So what with does is after opening the file, as soon as the with block ends, it closes the file. Okay. Now, here's another cool thing about file handle. File handle behaves like an iterator, which means that you can do things like for line in F, and then you can print line. Okay, so you can see we have printed the line. Cool, right? So, and it automatically closed at the moment the loop ended, this with block ended, the file got automatically closed. Okay, and that's such a cool thing about with. And you can also create your closable things, just like open file handle, similar to that open database connection, open this, open that, and you can basically make your function compatible with. Okay, that's a very neat thing that Python has done. Okay. All right. So I talked about file open handle. Here by default, if you don't provide whether you are writing or reading, it basically opens it in a read mode. Okay. And that's about it. So my question to all is, I want to find the longest line. Okay. And how would you go about it? Okay.
So,
Yes.
sorry, I mean, for by default, what is the delimiter it takes that function by
Line.
default?
New line.
Semicolon. New line. Okay.
New line. Yes.
So is there any way by which we can change, like let's say if the instead of new line, any line would like to terminate by semicolon, for example.
Usually, what people do in that case is they go for reading the entire data into the memory. One of the ways. So the
Okay.
other strategy here is that instead of using read line, you just say read. Okay.
Okay.
If you say read, what happens is I'll just do it somewhere below. That's easier. So I open the file, right? I open the file and then I say f, this is my text, f.read. Okay. This brought in the all the characters. If you can see at the length of this. Okay. Now you can split it based on, you can say, okay, for line in txt dot split. Okay. And you can say, okay, break it using double new line, something like that. Okay. And then you can carry on. Okay. Something like that. All right. So it's up to you. So we talked about, fine, we can open the file. We can either use read lines or read. We can close the file handle. Then we talked about we can also go line by line using this kind of a syntax. Using for iterator, it automatically goes into read lines mode. And those are the few things that we discussed so far. I know that I'm going a little faster, but stop me if you are finding it just too much. Okay. Now,
so by default, it will start from top to bottom, like file pointer 0th position.
Yeah, file pointer always traverses from top to bottom.
Is there any way by which we can reverse, like in C++ and Java, you have the option of pointers, right? fseek, for example, to reverse it or to choose the pointer in which way you would like to start.
Good question. I don't think so. In Python, you can't just jump, right? Let me see. Good question. File, or we can just here itself. Let's say we can say help and F. Okay. So it says text IO wrapper. Okay. This is IO wrapper. Okay. Let's again go here and say help F. Okay. This again, okay. All right. So one function is read line. So it keeps on reading line until the new line is done. Okay. You can seek, right? Change the stream position to the given byte offset. So the offset is interpreted relative to the position indicated by vens. Okay. So essentially, right? Essentially, what you can do is you can go to the particular position. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, but the question is seek whence. Okay, it can only go to start, current.
Yeah, one goes to negative, so maybe from the end it.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you can just go to the 2. You can say whence equal to 2, and then it goes to the end, and then seekable, seek tell. Okay, tells the current position. But my question is, how can you go to a particular position? Okay, I'm just looking for that. Where is that way? Okay. All right. Good question. Let me see. F seek in Python. Okay. Okay. Not here. Input, output. This is fancier. Okay. All right. You can also specify like what kind of encoding are you using, meaning because the file will contain numbers under the hood, it will contain numbers. While reading the file, each number is interpreted using which like which character, which scheme of things. Is it right? If you think about it, if you have to design, if you had to design the text reader, what you will do is you'll go to the file, read the bits, and then figure out is my uh, what kind of encoding scheme are we using? Is it base 16? Like, is my one number 5 bits, 6 bits, or what it is? So based on that, we will convert that block of bits into a corresponding character. Okay, that's why this encoding scheme comes into play. Okay, so yeah, in some of the encoding, when people are storing the data into the file, they also store the header of the file informing that this file is of this type. Okay, and you can usually look at this magical command called file. Okay, this file command in Linux tells you, it just looks at first few numbers in the file. Numbers as in, because everything is a number under the hood, it looks at the data in the file and says that, and tries to figure out the pattern, and basically just try to see whether it's a text file or what exactly is this. Okay, like if I say file for May, you can see this is also interpreted as a text file. But if you go to, let's say, .git folder, there is a .git folder that is created by Git itself, and you say file star. Okay, this everything is a text, and this one is an index. Okay, so this is the file that it has figured out that it is not a text file, but it's something else. Okay, so essentially using the file command, you can figure out what's there in the data, and the way it works is it looks at few bytes, and that few bytes is usually saved by various things. Okay, so encoding is one way. If you are storing the data using a certain encoding scheme, you should specify that while reading. And okay, so this one reads the entire file, this one reads the line, and this one writes the text into a file, and it returns an integer giving the object's current position in the file, representing bits. Okay, you can also say here f.seek and say offset and so on. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Let's do this small experiment. Okay, I'm going to say, okay, f equals open. What was that name of the file? Okay, f equals open, f dot close. I'll just make sure that it is closed. Okay, f dot open. And then what I'm doing is I'm saying f dot seek and say 1000. Okay, and now f dot read line. Okay, so it has jumped to this location. You can see here. Let's see, where is it? I'll reopen this file and try to locate where is this in this file. All right, so I'm saying mbox shot. Where am I? Mbox shot. I'm using a VI editor. It's a text editor. Okay, why it's not able to figure this out? Okay, yeah, I think this is the one, right? No. I'll just, comment out these things so that it doesn't interpret it as a special character. Okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, this is the place, I think. This is the place, right? Received from, yeah. Okay. So it has moved to this particular location. What? Can't I just, what? Works, right? Yeah.
Sandeep,
So
maybe because of that spelling mistake, I guess.
The receive har.
no, I want to search for exactly what was there. Basically, this particular thing is the problem. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so probably, right? So if you see from here till here, these many characters, okay? So you can essentially just take this into a string and count how many characters are there, okay? How do you count the characters? You can just say, this is text equals, okay? I'm just counting using Python. This is, okay, length of text, okay? Yeah. So I think somewhere like 1,000 characters, we went for that. So you can jump like this. So it works.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I hope I made sense.
Yeah, -3 also works, I think, Sandeep. In previous slide, it mentioned if we just give minus, it goes to last, just like, yeah.
Yes, like this.
Yeah, -1 or -2 from last, anything. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Got it. So that's also a good idea. Okay. Brilliant. Now, this is what it is. Okay. And you can actually jump to a location and so on.
So in
Oh,
this, it is not reading the file, it's just pointing to that location.
yes, yes.
I think that answers the question that you just gave, that reading the last 5 lines of the file.
Yeah,
We can
but
write.
yeah, how would you know that it is 10
if
lines?
if I get to the last position of the file, I can
Okay.
traverse it backwards and search for a new line there.
Okay. Okay. That's a good idea. But you can't really just move smoothly. You have to go one bit at a time. Okay. Okay. But yeah, that's a correct answer. That's a right answer. All right. But let's say I would ask you this, everyone. Please pay attention. If we cannot go back or we cannot jump to a particular location and file, okay. Let's say you are told that you cannot just jump to a location in a file and you cannot load everything into the memory. What would you do? If you have to find let's say 10 lines of a file, what will you do?
I guess we can go to the end of the file and then go back, right?
Yeah, that we can do. I'm saying, imagine, okay, let me just modify my question. Okay. Okay, let me modify my question a little bit more. Okay. Okay, here are the constraints. Okay, constraints. Okay. And when somebody says this, you should always ask a further question, like how big is the file? Okay, constraints. The file could be very huge, and you may not be able to keep the oh, sorry, no, this is a different question. Okay, question number 0. Question number 0, print last 10 lines of a file. The file may be, the file could be huge and you cannot keep the entire file in the memory. Okay, in this file system, okay, in this file system, you cannot just jump, you cannot do fseek, okay, as in jump to any location. All right, you can only read and read and move forward. Okay, now
Is it possible to use the Linux commands inside Python? If that
it is,
is possible, then we can use the tail command and get the answer.
no, I'm asking you to design tail command.
So,
okay, it's definitely possible to call the tail command. Okay, you can just say os.exec. That gives you the way to execute the command. Let me just take a digression. So you can say import os, and how do you, sorry, import process, and what is that? Just give me a moment.
I think it is system.
Yeah, it's process.exec. I remember execute commands from Python. So you can essentially use that. Where is the, okay, not this one. Okay. Yeah, subprocess. Yeah, subprocess. This is good. Subprocess is the way to go. Okay, so you can use subprocess, and you can, using subprocess, you can see the return value. Okay. Okay. What? Why did it not? What happened to this? Oh, isn't it right? The subprocess part? It is fine. Oh, subprocess.call is a better way. Subprocess.call. Why is not returning anything?
normally when you execute a command, you don't get the output of the command, you get whether it is pass or fail, right? You will have to push the output to a particular
Yeah, see
thing.
out. I want to grab. This is better. This is better. Yeah. At CloudxLab, what we are using is we are using a third-party library called Fabric. Using Fabric, we execute all the commands. Okay. So yeah, this was a method I remember using popen. Okay. Just like we open a file, we open the process, and we basically use that popen. Okay. Subprocess.popen. This way. Yeah. So you can basically just, let's say this is your command saying tail, what was that command? mbox.short.txt. I'm saying open this process, okay? Open this process, okay? And read entire thing, just like open it and then grab the, okay, I'll again, okay, subprocess equal to right? Subprocess dot popen, I'm telling that, okay, this is my command, cell equals to true, std out equal to subprocess dot pipe. Then I'm saying, okay, the result is equal to subprocess, sub underscore process dot std out dot read. And you can see that result now contains these, last 10 lines. All right. Okay, so we could just print. All right. Now it has read it like a new line. So we can do this, but the question that I'm asking is that we are not supposed to be using any other library or commands as is. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask this question. Okay.
Sandeep, you want both of these to be done without using file.readline, or we can use.
You can use file, right? Only I'm saying that this particular file system is not supporting seek. Okay, as in
Okay.
jump the location. Okay, and I'm asking them not to use the tail command as is. Okay, and
Okay.
Okay, I'll just put it in that constraint. Okay, all right, right. Don't use the system tail command. Okay, because I'm asking you to design the system tail command.
Then in linear fashion, keep reading every 10 lines and replace it with the next 10 lines. And when you encounter the end of the file, print the
Yes.
last 10 that are in the buffer.
Right, right. Okay, okay, help me write this code. That's exactly the strategy I'm looking for.
Helping.
Yeah.
In Python, I don't know the syntaxes to buffer and all.
Yeah, that's okay. Buffer
No,
is
you
nothing.
don't need to have buffer, right? I mean, you can create a list of 10 lines
Okay,
and then
fine.
read
Cool.
it, and then in the loop, just overwrite them as you go.
Yeah, for lines in, yeah.
We can use slicing for the Python.
Go ahead.
0 to length of the list of the read line, then slicing of the 10, like jump to the.
So that's what the problem is. The problem is, let's say you are doing this, okay? Read lines, okay? And this is your all lines, correct? We could easily do this, okay? Just give me 10 lines, okay? Just give me 10 lines, okay? So end of the story, answer is here.
Yeah, but yeah, large file is.
The only problem is that we read all the lines into this. Okay.
Sandeep, is there a mechanism like we sort it into descending by row lines?
Go ahead.
And if we sort it, then the selecting the first 10.
Okay. Okay.
But is it still will be having a lot of memory will be consumed if we sort?
But why are you sorting it? On what basis are you sorting it? I did not
Based on
understand.
index? Based on index?
But again, if you are doing the sorting, it again basically you see this here. There is nothing wrong in it. This is just perfect. The only problem is that it's just reading everything into the memory. Problem is now we are not able to do this. If you do sorting, the sorting will again require everything to be loaded into the memory, And then sorting will also require you to do the sorting, which is very expensive. Okay. When we are saying that we cannot load all the file into the memory, so you can't really sort all the files. Right.
Sandeep, I presume that when you do file load open, it will not use the memory, right? It will only have the pointer to the file.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you do this, right, no matter how big is your, right, if you do this, f equal to, this is your file handle, fh, I'm just calling it, and I'll just copy this. Okay. So, okay, if you see this piece of code, here, it's not reading the data, it's just opening up the doors. Okay, it just, giving you the handle. That's your control from here. Then I'm saying fh.readlines. Now, the moment we do read lines, it will dump everything from the file into this list. And this is the problem. We can't really let it happen. So we have to read line by line, no doubt of it.
Read line.
Read line. Okay. All right. So you are saying read 10 lines at a time. Okay. Let's see if we can code it up. Okay. We'll call a variable called 10 lines. Okay. 10 lines. Okay.
Sandeep, sorry to interrupt here. One time, we were talking about taking the buffer, right, in memory and then navigating it through. So let's say, we got like a 20 gig of file, as you mentioned in the example. Yeah. So, we can take the last, we can take the buffer like a 5 gig buffer or 2 gigs buffer and navigate at the end of the buffer and then start reading the files from there. Is that be a possibility in the code?
That's the logic I'm asking.
Okay. Then
yeah, that's the logic I'm asking.
Yeah.
The only downside, only thing only constraint I put in is that you cannot basically just jump to any location in the file. Okay. Of course, you as part of the Python API, in the normal file system file, you can jump to any location. But I'm saying that let's not use that technique for a moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying that you go from top. I want to, use the technique that I think Shweta mentioned. Who mentioned? I did not see the name while you were saying.
Yeah, 10 lines I have mentioned.
Yeah. Pranitha says. So yeah, that's the technique I want to emphasize on. The reason I want to emphasize on Pranitha's strategy is that's a cool strategy, and I want to see if we can code it. Okay. It's a simple strategy. What she's suggesting is that read 10 lines from the file and then keep it in a buffer and then just keep on moving the buffer, right? Just read 10 lines at a time and then put it in a buffer, and that's all. And we'll just read one line at a time and keep 10. Okay. There is no code to read 10 more than 10 lines. Or we can define a function that reads 10 lines at a time. Okay. Define read 10 lines from the file handle. Okay. Read 10 next 10 lines. I'll just say next 10 lines. Okay. From the file handle. Right. Okay. So, and it'll return those 10 lines. So what will you do?
So I'm navigating it to the buffer, right? So
while count less than 10, right? Count plus equal to 1. And my result is an array, empty array. And I'm saying result dot append. Okay. And fh dot read line. Okay. Is this okay?
We can even do this more generic n lines and just pass n also.
Okay.
Yeah, just saying write the function in more generic way if we want to just retrieve in future only 5 lines of the
Sandeep,
tail
Okay.
is the generic, right?
So you
So
are saying
just
this.
pass the number of lines also. Next
Like-
10 lines. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now let's take a look at the file handle readline function. Okay. Let's say help fh dot readline. Okay. Let's take a look. It says, okay, it reads the line. Okay. It reads the line, read until new line or end of the file. It returns an empty string if end of the file is hit immediately. Okay, so it returns end of the file. Okay, so we'll have to figure out what is end of the file. Okay, so it'll return empty string. Okay, so we can also say, okay, we can say result equal to this. I'll call it, say, line, the result line. Okay, if result underscore line greater than 0, then append this result underscore line. Okay, right? Otherwise, else break the loop. Is this okay, everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's just test it out. Okay, so we just wrote this cool function called read next 10 lines. Okay, and okay, does it look okay, everyone? So shall we test it on this one? We'll say read next 10 line, next say 2 lines, okay, from this file handle. It says it's not supported between this. Okay, why? Okay, next 10 lines result. Oh, here. I'll just say length of this is greater than 0. Okay. Nah. Oh, we did not return it.
Return it. Yeah, we have not written.
Okay. So yes, everybody forgets, including me. So if you forget, don't be hard on yourself. Okay, so it read 2 lines. Now let's see if we are able to read next 2 lines. Not bad, not bad. Okay. Again, next 2 lines. Okay, so it's going good. Let's take a look at the file here itself. We can use the head command from here and then compare if this thing is doing a good job or not. Okay. All right. So from Stephen, return path received from, okay. And then there's a tab followed by Frankenstein. Then there is a tab and Saturday. Yes, so we are doing good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Why did it not? Oh, it returned exceed right here.
Yeah, the same
Yeah.
one.
So up to here. So 6 lines, perfect. So our code seems to be good. Is this code clear to everybody? We are just reading from this file handle, we are reading these many lines. Simple. All we are doing is starting with count equal to 0. Empty result is empty. I'm saying keep doing it until the count is less than num. So when initially 0 is less than, let's say 2, num was 2, and now we are saying file handle dot read line. It gives 1 line to us. We check if the length is empty. Okay. If length is greater than 0, we put it here. Otherwise, we stop the loop, and in the end, we return the result. Okay. This looks okay to you, right?
Sandeep,
yes.
Read line in brackets num will give the same thing, right?
Read lines in bracket num.
No, read line with the number
Okay. It is there. Oh, we did not need to code it.
No, read line. Only read line.
Okay. It says
Not
hint.
lines.
Return.
No, not lines. Not
Oh.
lines. Just
Singular
line.
line.
Yeah. It uses size.
Wait. Size is what? Read until new line. Return an empty string if this is the size of the line. I think I do not know what does it mean.
So if you put read line 5.
Okay. Let's just test it out. We'll just test it out, right?
Yeah,
F
directly.
dot fh dot read line and say 10. So it only gives 10 characters.
Characters.
So it will give characters, not lines.
Not line.
Okay.
Yeah, it just keeps on giving 10 characters. Okay. All right. So yes, our hard work did not go waste. Okay. So our logic is good. So we are able to read these many lines. Okay. Read. Okay. I'll just change the name. Read next lines from this file handle. Okay. And that's about it.
Sandeep, what's that count plus minus 1? Plus equal to 1?
I'm increasing count every time, right? We want to count all, we want to pick only these many lines. Yes, Sweta?
Yeah. Sir, actually, I tried this at my end, but actually, I tried to like print this, but like I will share my screen.
Yeah, go ahead. It's an important question, okay? And you will slowly, I want all of you to slowly move to something called a circular buffer and a circular list. And this, you'll get a feel of it, like why we are doing it. Okay. I want to club the data structures with the Python and the file operations. Okay. That's the reason I'm focusing on building the logic. Okay. All right.
Is it visible, Sandeep?
All right. So what you've done is,
So
yeah.
actually, so basically I'm open that file and count the number of lines. Then I'll minus the 10 from that line numbers so that we can reach to that current, that means that position. Then I'll, but actually I'm not getting why it is not again reading. So again I have to I need to like open that file. Then I need to line, because see if I do it like this, so this is my question. Like I am able to print, but this is not working. See, I need to reopen that file. This was my question.
Yes. So what you are doing is you are finding how many total lines it starts at. You are saving that number, right? So you are saying these many total number of lines are these many. So in first loop, what you did was you found the line number from which you want to print. Now what you want to do is you want to just open the file again and then jump to the, like, keep skipping until that line arises, that line number arises, and then you start printing. So you'll have to open the file again. So you are doing it.
So on number 4, sorry to interrupt, but on number 4, it is reading the complete file, right? It is going from 1 to the end of the
yeah,
file,
but
right?
it's not but she's not keeping anything in the memory. The line
No, I understand, but it is reading the full file, right?
Yeah, you'll have to read the full file. Okay. Invariably, you'll have to read the full file. Because I'm saying that you can't jump to the end. Therefore, you have to go from top to bottom only. So I'm assuming that you'll have to read the full file.
Yeah, I mean, what I was saying is that the FD doesn't work later is because you have already read the full file.
So you are right.
That's why it won't work.
Exactly. Thank you. So you'll have to open again. Okay. But this is a good approach, and I'm very happy that all kinds of approaches we are seeing. And yeah.
Sandeep, I have one question. Yes.
Yeah, so when we give the file name, how does Python know that where to go and look for that file? Like in Linux, when we open a file, we give a path, right?
Yes.
Here we
Yes.
haven't specified any path.
Yes. Good question. Good question. So it first looks at the file. Let's say your file name. Okay. So just like Linux, right? The current position of looking in the file is if your file name starts with slash, then it's an absolute path. Then there is no doubt. It'll just go to that location and do. If it doesn't start with that slash, it means it's a relative path, relative to the place where this Jupyter notebook is saved. Okay, and this Jupyter notebook is saved at this location, same location as the file. Okay, that's why it's okay. If this one was, let's say, where was it? Find.
Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, sorry. Okay, so good question. So it's a very important thing to keep in mind. So imagine that we had. I'm just trying to show you box dot txt. Okay, okay. Here, let's say this is the file that I'm trying to read, right? So I can say, okay, open this. Okay, so there's no doubt here because the file name starts with slash. It's an absolute path. Go to the top and go to CXL data, then go to datasets, then go to project and find that file. There's no doubt. But if you say it's this, it means in the current folder, look for CXL data. Okay. Or in our case, what like here, like we could also say, go to one level above, ... And then we can say, what is the name of the folder? Python IITR. This one, right? All right. So we could say here like this. Okay. So from the current folder, go up one level, then go to this folder and then come here. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, so it is same like Linux, right? Just because Jupyter is located at one directory, so we are taking that as a reference. Okay.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Now, moving on, we are in a very good position right now. So good. We wrote this next read next line function, and this seems to work fine. Okay. And I'll just close this handle now. All right. Okay. I will say, okay, fh.close. Now, what would you recommend further? Okay. Now I'm going to reload. I mean, we have written this function called read next line. I'm going to say, okay, read, okay, last n lines. Okay, so we are going to take a file name. Okay, our strategy is going to be, right? Our strategy is going to be, right? So we will read these many number of lines. Okay. And okay, we will read, I think number equal to 10. Okay, we'll read 10 lines using read next lines. Okay, we'll say, okay, first of all, we will open the file handle. Cool. and then we will read 10 lines using read next line. Okay, we'll say file handle and 10. Cool. So we read 10 lines from this file. And then when do we stop? Everyone, when do we stop?
When line is 10, less than 10.
Yes. When when it returns the number of lines which are less than 10. Correct?
Sandeep, we have equal case now. Suppose we have 20 line, then 10 to equal to 10.
Multiples of 10 if
Yeah. Come again.
If the file has number of lines which are multiples of 10,
yes,
we would always get 10 lines.
10, correct.
How to identify end of file?
So, but next time, let's say there are 100 ones, right? The next time, 11th time when we are reading the file, the list is going to be empty, isn't it? Okay, so we have to take into this into consideration. Okay, so help me write this code, everyone. So what we are doing is we are saying, okay, previous. Okay, very important part. Essentially, what we'll do is we'll go follow this simple strategy. We'll read 10 lines, keep them, and then we'll read new 10 lines. Okay. If these new 10 lines are less than 10 in the length, we stop. And whatever, if these are like 9 lines are printed, then we'll take 1 line from the previous list and return this result. If this one has, let's say, 3 lines in the new one, we'll take 7 lines from the previous list and so on. Okay. So what we are going to do is we're going to maintain 2 lists. One is the previous and one is the current. If the current one comes out to be empty, that means we'll have to return the previous list, full list, right? If the current one has only 3 records, then 7 we have to pick from the previous list and we have to return these 2. Okay? Is everybody clear with the logic? I'm just following your logic. There are many ways.
Yes,
I just want to see if you guys can help me code it. Who can help me code it? Okay. Previous equals empty. All right. I'll just say while true because I don't know when to end the loop. Okay. And I'm saying next equals. All right. Okay. And here, if length of next is less than the number, okay, we have to break. All right, else previous equals next and carry on, right? So now once we break at any point of time, okay, at any point of time, what are we going to do is we are going to say, find the length of the next, okay, and take those many things from the, okay, length of the next is this, okay, and I'll just say next equals this, okay. Now we are saying that this is the length of next, okay, and if right, and the difference, what's the difference between this num minus L, okay, and I'm returning here saying previous minus diff colon, meaning get me these many records from previous, and and the next. Okay, and that's about it. All right, and we forgot to close the file handle here. We should ideally just close file handle somewhere. Yeah. Oh, okay. Does it make sense? Okay. So, is it correct? Is it correct? Not bad. Not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good.
Sandeep, that code we have one corner case. Suppose my file only have 3 lines, then this code might be break previous equal to next.
Let's see. Will it break? Let's just create a line, create a file, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Let's create a file. VI, let's say 5 lines. Okay. We are saying first, second, third, fourth, and 5. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You can check the number of lines using this syntax. Okay. Now let's test it out. Okay. Last n lines. What was the name of the file? Okay. Before running it, let's see if you guys can tell will it work or not. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, run through this code and see if the file, it's a very important thing what you have pointed out, and I want everybody to think like this. And I want everybody to be, super suspicious about everything. Okay, what if file has 3 lines or 5 lines? So what will happen, right? So this, what does this return in case of a small number less than 10? It will return 5 lines, correct? So next we'll have 5 lines and it will break here. And then it checks here that what is the length of this one? What's the difference? It is basically going to pick that from the previous and concatenate with the next. And that's about it. Okay. In my opinion, it should work. What do you think? Should it work?
I think it will work because we are saying it's a break and we're returning the diff.
I think it will not work because the previous of minus diff will be previous of 10 lines, right? But we don't have 10 lines inside that previous list. So there it will break.
What happens in case, let's say this is my list, okay? And I ask it to give me, let's say, -4 colon or -10 colon. Basically gives me last results.
Oh, okay. In that case, it will not break. Yeah.
It will not break, but it might be good to add a conditioner somewhere to check if the asked number of lines is lesser than the number of lines present in the file and just inform the.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. I think that guy is anyway checking this condition. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's test it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it works.
Sorry.
Okay. Good, good, good job. All right. Wonderful. I like those questions. And yes. Okay, so we wrote this. What is wrong with this code? Anyone?
If the file is huge, we'll end up taking more time because we are going in a linear fashion.
Yeah, it read line by line, so not the difference with the read line or this one.
That's okay. I think complexity is same. It's an order of n. As in, basically we are reading basically only once. And when it comes to the file reading, right, you have to be very, very aware that reading the file, like reading the file takes time. Okay. SSD, right? There are like, you guys should all know this, right? The numbers every programmer should know. Okay. These are good numbers. Everybody should know this. Okay. So let's just start from here. Okay. So reading 1 megabyte of data from the disk takes 80 times the time. The latency of reading 1 megabyte of data from the disk is 80 times slower than the memory. Okay. When we say open disk seek is basically 10 milliseconds. Okay, disk seek, when we are looking for data in the disk, it is 10 milliseconds, which is, while reading 1 megabyte sequentially takes 1 millisecond. So you can see SSD is 20 times faster than the disk. Okay, SSD is 20 times faster than the disk and 4 times slower than the memory. Okay, so SSD is very fast. Okay, and SSD is a different kind of storage. Most of the laptops these days have SSDs, and most of the, I mean, I think that magnetic drive is only found in servers these days, but now, but you have to know these numbers. I would want everybody to know these numbers. Okay. No means like you should know the multiplication, only the magnitude. You should know that the SSD is 20 times faster than the normal disk. RAM is 4 times faster than even SSD and 80 times faster than the disk. And reading the data, basically there is a branch mispredict is when you say if else conditions in your code. If else condition takes 5 nanoseconds. Okay, and yeah. So here is like the round trip of our data center from California to Netherlands. It takes 150 milliseconds. Okay, so yeah. Now, so one problem with this code is that it is slower. Second problem is that it is kind of keeping two lists in the memory, right? It's kind of keeping two lists in the memory, right? So it's taking double the amount of memory, right? Can we make it better? It's keeping previous, it's keeping next.
In the same list, we can keep overriding one line by line. If there is any difference, it will leave the previous lines as is. Right.
Okay.
So first read list.
Okay. Can you help me code it?
We can, I mean, I tried one, but somehow it is giving one an additional line, but this is what we can try. We can always add append in the list and then pop the first one. So it will be rotating. So you'll always keep on adding at the end and removing the first one.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah. So here is something I want you guys to think over. And Subbu, yeah, you guys are in a very right direction, and I want you to work on this. Okay. So rewrite this code, okay, to make it using circular buffer. Okay. So, okay, you can try doing this kind of thing, right? Read a line, okay? If size of the buffer is, okay, is, all right, read a line, append a line. If size of the buffer is greater than 10, knock out the first one. Okay, you can use you know, the Python has this amazing list. Okay, so you can, if you want to remove the first element, you want to append the element, you can append new element to the end, right? And if you want to remove, you can say pop left. Okay, where is pop?
Only pop.
It only removes the last one. It doesn't remove that one.
Pop 0, 0.
Pop 0.
Okay. Yeah, you can try using this sort of strategy. Okay. All right. So append to the last. So you maintain a circular buffer. So the way it is going to happen is that you basically just keep putting things into here. And if it has got more than 10 ones, then you delete from the top. Then you add one at the bottom, delete one from the top, and you keep on doing that. Okay. If you can find any other strategy to do the circular, we call it a circular buffer because this is like a circle. Okay. This is like a circle, right? We kept on putting into this. We kept on putting into this, and then we kept on overriding this one. So it basically, we just maintain the fixed size. Okay. So code, my request to everyone would be try to code a circular buffer. What does circular buffer do? It basically, right? So the question to all is write a program, okay, to simulate circular buffer. Okay. Right. So circular buffer, it will take, right? It will take circle.append. It will take the list, right? It'll take the list as first argument, and it'll take the element. Okay. So it'll basically, right? It'll basically just, right, maintain the last 10 elements. So you basically just write one function called circle append. It takes the list and the element. It keep on appending that element to the list and removing the first element from the list. Okay. And that's about it. So see if you can implement it. All right. Moving on. I think we will go more into this as we, yeah. Okay. So I hope this was useful to everyone.
Hi, Sandeep. Actually, I have one question. Like, if we read a file, why can't we go into reverse direction? I mean, means in C++ also we do always I have seen we go forward direction. Means while we are reading, we can check the previous step. There should be limitation where is the starting of the file, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
why we don't implement this way, reverse direction or anything kind of?
Yeah, you can implement that. Yeah, that's a good point. So I think another to do for all of you is, right? So question to all is, right? Implement last n lines method using the reverse strategy, which she just outlined. Okay. Okay. All right. Now going like you can always, what you can do is you can go to the end of the file, and then you can basically just start moving one character at a time or one block at a time, and then see if it is having those many lines. Okay. And try implementing that. Okay. And this is something that I want you to feel it. Okay. Using the seek method, fh.seek method, I want you to implement. Okay. You get some time to do this. Okay. And yeah. All right. This we have talked about. This we have talked about. So yeah. The other question that I wanted to code is find the longest line. That is way more easier now, right? Can you guys help me code this question? Question number. Okay. Question number. This we have already done. Okay. Yeah. Who will help me? Everyone? Yeah. Find the longest line. You have to print the longest line from a file. Simple, right?
In the same way, just read the consecutive line, and if it is lesser than in length, keep the longest one in the one and keep comparing.
Okay. Tell me the instructions. I'm the text editor.
Read line by line and compare with the previous line. Just 2 lines.
Tell me.
Yeah, open the file handler and
File handle, open the file handle. Okay.
read line, fh.read line. Read it into something so that we can compare the next line.
Okay. This is, let's say, line. I read it into line. Okay.
Yes, if again, if line is length of line, I mean to say, yeah. Line is greater than fh.read line. Will it go to next read line?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then,
if it is only one line,
yeah, in that case, we'll return 0 or something. We'll return the only line that is there.
okay. But where is the loop?
Yeah, for lines in
For line, I think this you can do for lines in FH.
FH, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah,
A
someone
length of line. Okay. Let's say we define something called max length. Okay. And initially it's -1. Okay. And right. And we are saying the line that we're going to return is empty. Okay. So -1 is max length and the line is empty, right? Okay. A longest line. Okay. So what we're doing is we are going over the file. Okay. We're going line by line. If this length of line is bigger than the max length so far, okay. What we are doing is longest line we are saving. We are saying longest line equal to line, correct? Right?
Yes.
And what we are doing is we are updating the max length also. Max length equals length of line. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, right? So
return the longest line. Right?
Return the longest. Yes. All right. Does it make sense? But we forgot to close the line.
But why you need to put a 0, -1 as a max length? You can start with 0, right?
In case there's no file, I want to return the long. I just want to return empty.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But yeah, a good idea would be just keep it 0. Yeah. Good idea would be keep it 0. I think coming to let it be 0. Okay. Now let's start with our file. Okay. mbox-short. Okay. This is the longest line from this file. Okay. All right. Good. Everybody okay with this? Okay. Good question. Okay. Now I want to ask everybody this question. This is a code that Gaurav has written. It's a absolutely correct code. Okay. But Gaurav, we are looking for the line.
Yeah, he written my variable name is mismatch. He written the line.
What?
Because it's compare in internal the
No, it
max.
will only give the number, right? The max length,
Yeah.
right?
I think what you should do is you should just say length of line.
Then return the number. If I okay.
You just put a tuple like this. Okay. And then no such okay.
File name.
I'll say mbox-short.txt. Probably, yeah. You can see. I can say cool.
But if we don't use, I also try that same thing. Length, create the tuples or dict. But if I am not creating this length is always written the same line.
The thing is, in case of when you say max, right? Max of ABC is greater than.
Okay. Binary code. Okay.
Okay.
Because ASCII value.
It's not comparing the length, it's comparing the ASCII code.
Yes.
Got it. Right. So what I did was I said, okay, I counted all the line, I gathered all the lines, created a list of tuples. Like here, I said, okay, right. If you see, I hope everybody's clear about this syntax here. No. So this one creates a list of tuples where each tuple, the first one is the length of line and second one is the line, text line. Okay. And that's it.
Sandeep, but this, when you do max, right? I mean, will this keep all the lines in the memory or it will?
You got it right. It'll keep everything in the memory. The moment you created the list, right? You read everything into the memory and you kept everything in the list. And when you're doing max, it's going over the memory and then finding the max length. Okay, just to give you a perspective what is going on. Let's say this is A, okay? This is one tuple, okay? Tuple is nothing but like a list, okay? A list of lists, okay? You can see this, okay? A, B, all right. And we have, let's say, okay? So it's going to find the max of it. The max is, okay? So max is 1. So when it compares, right, you can compare two tuples. Okay. All right. You can compare 1 comma minus 1 is greater than 0 comma 2. Okay, like that. So you can compare tuples, like first it'll compare 1 and 2, then it'll compare this and this. Okay, so based on this, it finds that 3 is the max. Okay, and then basically if two numbers are similar, only in that case it checks the second value. Okay, it checks the second value, otherwise it doesn't. Right? So you can see because first number is same, so it has gone from compare second number. Similarly here. Okay, you can see here if it is let's say 4 and okay, and all right. So sorry, if it is 3 and yeah, so you can see first it compared 3 and then it found that small ABC is basically bigger than small ABC is always small a is ASCII value wise bigger than capital A. Okay, so like that. Is everybody okay? Now, so there are two pieces of code that I've talked about. First one is finding the longest line. What it does is it basically maintains something called max line that it has seen so far and the longest line. So it's retaining these two variables. Initial value of these are 0 and empty. And then what we are doing is we are saying this. Okay, we are going for line by line. If length of line is equal to, if at a, like we read the line, we are reading one line at a time from the file handle using this for loop. And then if this length of line is bigger than the max length, it is updating it and moving on. Is everybody okay with this code and these two pieces of code?
Sandeep,
Sandeep.
Oh, Sneha, you can go ahead.
Sandeep, I have a question on the second code. The max word line, why we have mentioned it as a 1? 1 is what indicating exactly that?
Basically, it will return a tuple, right? This tuple has two values. First one is the length of the line. It has 685 characters. And second one is the line. So here, what we prepared two variables tuple, and we put it into the list. Got it? So we read one line, computed its length, and using the length and the file, the actual line, we created a tuple, a pair, and then put it into the list. And we prepared a full list of things, and then we did the max. So it gave us the tuple that has got the max value. Got it? The way it returned here, the length and the string, right? Here also it will return a tuple, right? Max word line is a tuple. And this tuple contains first one as the length of the line, and second one is the line.
Understood. But earlier we have mentioned there in the bracket 1. So that's what confused why we have.
Yeah. So if you say 0, it will give us, if you say here, if you say 0, it will give you 685.
Okay, understood. Understood. Got it.
Okay. All right.
Sandeep, between the first and the second code base, you're still going to traverse the whole file, right? So processing wise, it'll be similar.
That's correct. Which one? So order of, like with respect to time taken, both will take the same time, almost. Okay. But do you think both will take the similar amount of memory? How much memory does it take, this one?
Just 2 lines.
Only these two variables, right?
Yes.
And one more. So the memory complexity of this code is constant, order of 1, right? The complexity of this code with respect to the memory is order of 1. While the memory complexity, the amount of memory is going to take is order of n. If it has million lines, it will load all the million lines into the list, isn't it? And then compute the max. All right. So order of complexity is same, order of n, both have the same order of time complexity. Time complexity is identical for both order of n, while memory complexity of the previous one was O1 and the next one is On. Memory complexity. So if this mbox.short had 20 million records, it will load everything into the memory. And if the memory is not sufficient in your computer, it will overflow and say memory overflow. Okay. Do you want me to test it out? Okay. Let's take
one question about the caps lock, which is in the sentence. Suppose if you have sentences which have mixed small caps and upper caps. So even though upper caps length is greater, it will still return lesser. It won't come in the max. So should we convert everything in lower and then see the length?
We only want the max one. If there are two lines, if two lines are same length, we are okay with either of them, right? Because tuple, when it's comparing, right, it will only check the second value if the first one is identical. Got it? If the first one is identical, only then it will check the second value for comparison. Otherwise, if both are different, it'll just return that. Got it? Say, for example, in this and this, it won't compare the second value because first value, this one is bigger, right?
So that is the length. Like if we have if we have a sentence of like 5 words and all of them are small caps, and another sentence with all caps.
So let's say 5 letters. Okay, yeah. 5 words.
And another with
okay. So it will return this one. Right? If you say max of this, right? If you say max of these two, okay, I put them into a list. Okay, I put these pairs into list by putting square brackets around them and did the max. Okay, and I forgot the bracket. So it returns 5, ABCDE. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. All we care about is the length. Okay. If there are multiple lines with same length, just give me any of them. Doesn't matter. All right. Doesn't matter. It's completely okay. Now, question to all is, are you clear about the memory complexity? This one is consuming more memory than this one. So which code do you think is better? This one or this one?
It depends on the
Max
file
one
size
is
requirement.
What?
You mentioned, right, like the complexity is n for this code, whereas the other code is order of 1, I guess, right? So
yeah,
I'll take that code as the better one.
This one is consuming only memory for max length, longest line, and new line, right? And one file handle, like one byte into file handle.
Yeah.
Okay. So this code is definitely better because this one consumes less memory and time complexity is same as this one. Okay.
In this, maybe Sandeep, maybe I'm overcomplicating in my head, but in this case, recursion will be an even less efficient approach.
Of course. Because recursion would not give you anything better than what for loop did.
Correct.
It'll unnecessarily
And is
complicate.
there a way? Yeah, and is there a way to figure out, say, for example, the assumption is whenever there is a full stop, the sentence ends, right? So what is the position of a full stop in a list of words? The further away it is from the previous full stop, that's the longest sentence.
No, I think here we are not
sentence?
looking at full stop, right? We are looking at end of line character. I mean, there can be.
Yeah.
So the
But
question
what
mark,
you
exclamation
said,
mark, and
but what you said, right? We can do the same thing for end of life, right? I mean, end of line. You can check the difference between number of characters between two end of line, and whichever is the highest is your longest line.
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. So yes. All right. Wonderful. I'm very happy what we have accomplished in the class, that at least we saw a couple of approaches. We understanding the file behavior is extremely important. Okay. And if you understood like why we are doing all of this, why there is a memory issue, then I'm really happy. Okay. I want you guys to look at it again, see if you are able to feel that difference, right, with respect to the memory consumption. Okay. Now, we did this already. Reading the whole file, one way is to read the whole file. We could just do that. And yeah. Okay. All right. We will carry on from here and in the next session. I hope this was useful to all. Okay. And yeah, if you have any questions, please ask. Yeah, please go ahead with the questions. Okay.
Sandeep, can we get that this PPT?
That in my course, right? In videos.
Yeah, this is there in the learnings, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'll commit my
Sandeep,
code.
is there any?
Yeah.
Is there any specific error handling file related which we have to look at, in the
Good
sense file not found or those kind of things?
question. So yeah, you do. Okay. I'll just commit the work. Okay. Those who are new, they can clone this repository also. All the work of the class I'm keeping in a separate repository, and this is called GitHub. Yeah, this one. Okay. This is the repository. You can do the git clone. And as in when I'm working, you can just git pull and it'll bring up all the things. Okay. All right, I have done that. Yes, find the okay. Subodh has already written that code. Let me just walk through. Find the longest line. Okay. Yeah, perfect. This is even better. This is minimizing that. Just that length of the line is being calculated again and again, but that's very, very fast. Okay. Instead of maintaining the variable. Yeah. Because I don't think it takes too much time to compute the length of the line. Okay. It has, because it has a record of number of characters in a array, because underneath a string is a length. A string is a list. So length of the list is quick. It's very quick. It is not. It's anyway maintaining it in a variable. So you don't need to maintain the length in a separate variable. So this is good enough. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think this is a good work. I'm really happy that all of you are trying. Oh, Sweta has already written that code. Okay. And yeah. Okay, perfect, perfect. And wonderful. Thank you, Subodh. I think you had already written that code for last 10 lines. Was it good?
Yes.
Was it on the same lines what we did? Oh, you had already done lines.pop. Okay, good, very good work. I think you can share this code with everybody. Okay, can you share it with everybody
Okay.
in the WhatsApp group? It's a good work. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm happy, super happy that you guys are able to do it. It's very, very important, though actual file handling could be very obvious. I mean, open the file, close the file, read the file, and read lines, read lines, and all of that. But the solving the file related interview questions is much more. Specifically, printing last 10 lines is a good question. Okay. And yes, it's a secret that I do ask it in the interview.
We're gonna publish it on the interview blogs, right? You know, if you are getting a call from it, these are the questions you're gonna get.
Yeah. But I find it very interesting question. I find it very interesting question. All right. Anything else you have?
Sandeep, if we have offline questions, what's the best way to send those?
Which one?
Any offline questions as we are practicing these, instead of just asking those in the class, how can we send offline
You can,
questions?
in the WhatsApp group, just ask. Okay.
WhatsApp group, okay.
Yeah. Just ask in the WhatsApp group. And if you have something like something in which you need my attention, just message me directly. Okay. And yeah. Otherwise, Shub and other classmates can answer the technical questions along with me. I keep an eye on the group. Okay. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. And thank you, everyone. Have a good day. I look forward to see you tomorrow at the same.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Thanks, Sandeep.
Wonderful.